I've always found uh, quite a few similarities between Paducah and Bowling Green. And I think those similarities help bring me from Paducah to Bowling Green and from Paducah Tillman to Western Kentucky. And one of the common threads that I found there is a classic example of people working together, a community that prides education, and a willingness to share the best of all of us. I think those components I found distinguishable and common. And then once I got here, I wasn't disappointed because it was here in abundance. Journalism was a chosen profession. I had sort of fallen into it in high school and was blessed with several opportunities to attend journalism schools across the country, some of the major ones from the USC Medallion School of Journalism all the way to studying writing at Vanderbilt in Indiana and some other great universities. But Western, was not only the best choice, but it was the perfect choice because, again, it was that blend of humanity coupled with excellence in the field of writing and in what makes exceptional journalists. Writing for the Herald was a on-the-job experience. It was on the Herald where I made my first road trip, where I literally flew on the plane with the cross-country team to Lehigh University to Saucon Valley Field and cover the National Cross-Country Championships. I've made hundreds and thousands of flights since then, but my first one actually covering an event happened here at Western. Western gave me the practical editing and perfection of the language that is so important in becoming a quality journalist. I learned that here. The journalism department was a blend of really tremendous people with great expertise, whether it was the people who led in photography or those in the editing department or those in the feature writing. You really got all of the tools that you would need to be able to be exceptional once you left here. Bob Adams is a very unique educator and a very unique person. He is a high man of integrity in both of those areas, and there's a reason why his name is on the buildings on this campus here in the, saluting the journalism department. He taught me, and his impact on me was just almost beyond words, because being away from home and creating Western as a new home, I think with any student, you need someone who sort of is going to be an anchor for you, someone who to bounce off career ideas with, someone to talk about maybe some of the struggles that you're having and also to celebrate some of the joys and successes that you have. And so across the board, Bob and others were just totally instrumental in me growing, flourishing. Joanne Thompson, who was our departmental secretary, was like a mother to all. David Whitaker at that time, who was a tremendous man of journalistic thought. The list is long. Jack Horn and Jim Ossenbaugh. There are so many others, and all of them, again, shared that understanding of what it took to be great and how to help you get there. I was an active member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity here, and have been since. And along with the Herald, those two sort of bounced off each other. If I wasn't at the Herald, I was with Kappa Alpha Psi. If I wasn't Kappa, I was with the Herald. And so the Herald helped me from a business, structural, leadership, management, team-oriented experience. That was Kappa. And the Herald did some of the same in terms of working toward a team, but also giving me a tremendous opportunity to work with great coaches like Jimmy Fikes, who was the head football coach at the time, a tremendous man, who also happened to take his class and learned not only the elements of football 101, but also how he thought about it, which helped me to write about him in a more knowledgeable way. Clem Haskins and Gene Cady were the basketball coaches at the time. And I got a chance to really see how both of those men who were highly successful worked in their roles. Great coaches like that and great people like that were sort of a segue for me into the pro arena and pro experience. Even before that, immediately when I left here, went to Detroit, began my career at the Detroit Free Press, and among my first assignments was working with Bo Schembechler and with Michigan. So I had a great platform from here on which to go to work at a place like that with a legendary coach like that. And then since then in the NFL spectrum, from Paul Brown and Bill Walsh and Art Rooney, some of the legends of this game, Chuck Noll, and so many people, Joe Montana as players, and so many Hall of Famers through the years up to current times with Bill Belichick. And there's so many people that I've met who are, to me, a continuation of the foundation of the excellence that I experienced here at Western. The challenges then and now are very interesting. It's a different set of challenges, but challenges nonetheless. The challenges then were more about making copy fit into a specific space. It was about meeting deadlines in a manner that the paper could then be physically carried to another place to be printed. And now, from a digital perspective, you don't have to worry about the space element as much, but you still have to learn how to work that medium into an arena where you still build as much trust and confidence with people. Because now I think players, athletes, coaches, administrators, owners, they're all maybe a little more worried in terms of the social, immediate impact of social media, and how what they say can be so instantly misconstrued, and that there isn't the vehicle of the long or in-depth perspective that maybe gives them a chance to counter that. Gaining trust with your sources and becoming a person that people want to talk to and feel like they can confide in, and that their story will be told in an honest way with integrity and with accuracy, is the essence of journalism to me. And I came to Western with much of that already in my heart and in my mind and in my soul, and then that was cultivated here by the way I was taught and by the standards that were expected when I was here. And I think over the course of my career, that has been a measure that's just sort of been easily identified. For some reason, I think for those reasons that we're talking about, players do want to talk to me, owners do want to talk to me, coaches do think that they can trust me. And the reason is because they can, and it's been shown that to be the case. And I think what you do with that trust is also very important, because the greatest journalism to me is one where you take that and then you take that story or those thoughts or that message and you let it resonate to the masses. And I've always considered the best journalists ambassadors in that way, that they are conduits to the fans and conduits to readers and take them to places that they may not necessarily have the opportunity to go, but by reading one of your stories feels like they are there. Well, I had that for me, and I've always felt it was important to give it as well. It's just what I've always believed, and I think Western again is the type of place that cultivates and really helps you to understand the importance of everything that you're gaining is for you, and it's for your maturation, and it's for your success and your achievement. But also along with it comes that spirit that makes the master. And that's part of that spirit that we talk about, that is sort of the foundation of this university. And that spirit of giving and that spirit of sharing, I think, makes each of us stronger. And in this instance, makes the university stronger and makes it so special. They need to be versatile. I mean, they really need to understand all the different platforms or get experience, exposure to every vehicle of journalism that there is, both digital, print, photography, every aspect of it. Be open to it and have some working knowledge in it. And then they need to do what all successful Western students have done through the course of its history since 1906, and that is work hard. Work hard and be willing to become an expert in their craft. And I think if you combine working hard with becoming knowledgeable across the board in all the different venues, you set yourself on a path of success. I walked into the Alumni Hall today and for the first time actually saw the plaque on the wall there with all of the other great honorees of this university. And I tell you, it really took me back for a moment because I was there and it did happen and I did see it. But to actually see it for the first time there, it's a very humbling experience. It's a very noble one. I mean, a place that means so much to you, and for you to understand that you mean so much to it, it is a combination that is so powerful and so meaningful. I've often said about this university that the first day that I set foot on campus, I just knew it was meant for me and that I was meant for it. And that has not changed through all the years, nor do I ever see that changing, because Western is such a very special place that continues to make a difference in many people's lives. Well, my book Blitzed is a combination of 30 years of Super Bowls, 30 years of NFL coaches and owners, 30 years of players, and 30 years of simply watching the game. And this game, in many ways, boils down to the quarterback position. It is such a iconic, important role in your franchise in the sense of defining the face of your franchise. And it is that quarterback is the engine that makes the franchise either hum or totally fall apart. And identifying that guy and all of the intangibles that go with the talent is a very difficult exercise that some teams have been quite successful in accomplishing, and others to this day continue to fail and repeatedly fail. And so my book is sort of a case study from a historical and current perspective with many widespread NFL voices looking at this perplexing puzzle and trying to find some of the pieces that are common in terms of what leads to success and what leads to failure. And it is a very open-ended question that really can't be answered because you have 32 teams with 32 different owners, with 32 different general managers and 32 different head coaches, thus 32 different opinions. And so as the league continues to grow and evolve and exist, you're going to have some that rise and some that fail. And hopefully those that read my book will come closer to succeeding once they put the best of the ideas together of all those that have offered. It was an interesting experience in that it took a year and a half to pull all of the work together and all the interviews together across the nation and then actually sit down and write it. But it was a labor of love. I mean, I've always had great passion for writing, and I've always had great passion for sports, and particularly the NFL. So it was the culmination of all of the things that I've always enjoyed. I think it's a matter of adding into what I'm already doing. I've always sort of been led by the Spirit, and I've always sort of been touched in a way that my destiny, I think, has always been determined ahead of time. I think God has always had a plan for me that is His own. So what I try to do is walk in order in those steps and not try to answer too many of those questions, but continue to follow down the path that I hope will lead to great achievement as well as contribution. I hope that my name, along with many other names that they hear, serves as a source of inspiration. I hope that my name, for all of the students that are here and for those to come, serves as an example of what can happen, of what can be, and how they can be blessed, and how they can rise, and how they can have a career and a life that reflects all of their hopes and dreams and even more. And I hope that also that when they hear my name, that they realize that with that comes me being part of a group. I think that is the core of what Western seeks to become, and that is, and always seeks to be, and that is this spirit that is a masterful spirit that can make the difference not only in their lives but in others.